So, hello, captains of Armband. Welcome to another episode of Short Corners, where we interview footballers, managers, coaches, analysts, scouts, directors, and owners of various Indian football clubs and even world football clubs to bring the various aspects of the game closer to you. So, if you're a football enthusiast just like me and love to learn from football personalities, make sure to subscribe to our channel. And today with us, we have Mr. Aakash Narula, the General Secretary of Football Delhi. So, Mr. Narula, how have you been?
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and great to be here. And thank you so much. And hope you're doing well and everybody at Armband is doing great.
So, sir, I will not waste any of your time and will just go into the talking points, starting with the all exclusive one. That is in 2014, you joined the Indian Super League side Delhi Dynamos FC at their head of operations, and in 2006, you were promoted as the role of club's head of football development. Later on, you carried on with the role at Odisha FC too. And what were the lessons that you have learned as the head of football development for ISL side? And I will love to know it because we all heard a lot about head of football development, but how does it work?
My journey in football started as a player in school in Delhi, in modern school, Barkamba Road, where I played football, played in college, played in A division club in Delhi. Then I started working after college and got into hardcore sports management around 2009-10 and been in sports since then. So I worked on various sports across different leagues, federation, etc. But once ISL started, I deep dive into football with Delhi Dynamos because football was my game, which I love and I played. And I started with operations, team manager. But moving to football development, head of football development was a very conscious decision where I wanted to develop a platform for the students, for the players, for the young players from Delhi who could avail this opportunity to become a professional player, which we were playing 15, 20 years ago, it was the platform wasn't there as such because there was no top flight football club from Delhi playing I League. So our aspirations were quite low. And once ISL came about, Delhi Dynamos came out, I thought that this was the perfect platform to provide to the players of Delhi NCR to dream and to become a big professional player, play for the national team and avail on this platform. So that's how the journey of head of football development started. And the challenges, I think it was more than challenges, it was a beautiful opportunity to create something, to nurture talent, to bring about something that was not there in Delhi. There was a big vacuum and void. So it was amazing to see the talent that we have in Delhi. It was just about honing the talent on a regular basis so that the kids of Delhi have a platform. They play regular matches. They get amazing coaching from our local coaches. And thankfully, back then, thanks to our owners in Delhi Dynamos and Odisha FC, we had a tie-up with Aspire Academy, which is an advanced academy in Doha. And they sent two coaches down, one from Spain and one from Chile, which I think was the best thing that happened to us in Delhi as a club and the Delhi landscape of football. And we nurtured and mentored local coaches and our youth teams. And every year on year, we saw a progressive development. We became better at football. We became better in our rankings in the youth leagues. And we were competing with other clubs who've been training kids in a residential setup. And we didn't have a residential setup. So that could have been a challenge, but I think that helped us only focus on local talent. Because in residential setup, you end up getting kids from other states. Although we had very few, maybe 5% of outside Delhi players. So that gave us an opportunity to genuinely develop kids from Delhi. So I think these were the few challenges, but I think more than challenges, it was a big opportunity, which we utilized until the club moved to Odisha.
Another point I will just add is that everybody I have talked at Delhi, they have said that Delhi Dynamos had a great cultural effect of football on the Delhi population as well. And we can even see a lot of players who came from all those academies. And more than that, there was a general interest about football which grew. And the teams like currently Delhi FC and all those are trying to make the most of it. But everything started with Delhi Dynamos because I remember in the I League era, there weren't many teams from Delhi. So I totally agreed with your point. It was a very beautiful point and also very beautifully put forward. But the next question is a bit tricky one because we have a lot of guests. We have asked this question and there were a lot of mixed opinions. Some believe yes, some believe no. So I will want to take your opinion on this. Do you believe the geographical location and culture of the region directly affect the development process of the region's youth player? If so, how do the impact of the scouting and development system on the regional clubs do affect?
See, this question is a very interesting one because the geography remains, there's preference and bias towards certain geographies because they remain hotbeds of that particular sport. There is demand, there is supply, the economics around that sport and football in particular favors that particular geography. So you have more clubs there, more viewership, more consumption of the sport, more talent coming through. Kids are playing that sport. There are already heroes from that area. So geography definitely helps. But I feel India is a huge, huge country. It's as big as Europe. Imagine, I think each state in our country should function as a country to develop that talent and invest as much into the sport at grassroots and youth level. So one is to prioritize the sport is important from the association level, from the federation level, from the government and school level. Once that happens, we will see more hotbeds coming up and not just select places. That's why I feel geography becomes a big factor in developing athletes. But having said that, I believe that if proper platform is given, there are continuous number of matches around the year for young talent to play, they will become better. It's a matter of practice, right? If you do something every day, you will become better at it. And if the education is good, you will even become better and reduce your mistakes. So I think opportunity has to be given. It can't be curtailed because in certain geography, there's not much of football or not much of ecosystem flourishing there. But I feel opportunity is important. That's why I think Delhi Dynamos helped Delhi in a big way. And I hope that opportunity comes back to Delhi sooner than later. And this factor or discussion of geography is less discussed and is more focus is given on the development of player and giving them the opportunity. Point is awareness and opportunity and the willingness to develop the sport in all aspects.
This is the question I want to ask you. That is, in 2020, you joined Football Delhi as the General Secretary. So, what are your roles and responsibilities for Football Delhi?
After the Delhi Dynamos went away from Delhi and this opportunity came up, I thought it's the best way to be part of the system and help develop the ecosystem through an association because Football Delhi was doing great work and had big plans to be a model city under the leadership of the ex-president Shaji Prabhakaran. So it was an opportunity to be part of the system and still help in developing, put a dent in the system, still help kids, students, coaches, referees to develop. So that was the idea, to be part of it. And in terms of the role, General Secretary is the one who's responsible for the entire administration of running the entire association with the elected body. So I'm responsible along with the president and the executive committee to run each and every aspect of football, to govern the sport in the city, to put best case practices. And thankfully, the leadership that we've had over the years with Shaji Prabhakaran and now with Anrich Gupta, we have we had great activities done, a great structure in place. I think 22-23 season in Delhi had the maximum number of football activities in the history of Delhi ever. And we only plan to go bigger and better from here. So yes, so that's the overall summary of what I do and how the association is structured in Delhi.
You have worked closely with Mr. Shaji Prabhakaran during your stint. So, what are the things that you've learned from him?
So one important thing to be admired and learned from is the passion in which his mind worked in terms of growing the sport relentlessly and 24/7. And the demands of the sport are 24/7. Whether you're working part-time, interning, volunteering, full-time, the demands are the same. So, and that demand can only be met if you're thinking about football 24/7, how to develop the game. And thankfully, with Shaji, with myself, and now with Anuj as the current president, our thinking is to develop football at the base level, to develop the sport at grassroots and youth, because only then the football will develop in the long run. It can't be top-bottom. It has to be bottom-up. So thankfully, all our thoughts and our vision matched, and all of us have been working on the same ideology, which helps to work in a very good, cohesive manner. So that was, I think, really something to learn from. and how to completely be innovative on your ideas, because we've had lack of resources in football. It's not like cricket that you have uh, tons of money coming in. So you have to be very innovative with your partnerships, with the execution of the leagues, with educating coaches, referees, with grassroots. You need collaboration everywhere and anywhere possible. So learning that kind of thought process and to be aligned in with the vision, to do what you have thought of and deliver it, is something, of course, we've been learning and trying to execute, and something that everybody can learn from. And you can see the same in AFF, with the new president and the secretary general there. They've put a vision and document in place. They have taken important steps to evolve and sort of reinvigorate the football structure in India. So the same was done in Football Delhi.
We all know we have talked a lot about Target 2026 and Vision 2047 in our channel. We have also talked with the guest and we all know that it was a very visionary plan, and finally we have some charted pace forward. And it's so good to know that Delhi football is also working in this regard, trying to build certain structures which were not there in place. And you have said football is heavily cash stripped. We don't have much amount of money regarding to it. But again, it's so good to know that people are still trying to do whatever which is possible within the constrained budget. And with football, the national football team playing well, there is a general consensus, which I haven't seen in the last 3 or 4 years, which happened in the last 2 or 3 weeks. People are generally interested about football, not only the national team, but also the club football as well. We are seeing the hype regarding it. So, in the last 3 years, as the general secretary, what were some of the early challenges you faced? And during the period, how did that shape you as a decision maker? Because we all know the role of general secretary is part and parcel with something like a decision making, which sometimes become tough. Because I won't lie, as a person, I'm a very bad decision maker. So I just want to ask you, how did it help you? The position, the role, and the duties?
So our first challenge when I joined was COVID. The pandemic was around. We couldn't do much. Although we started off with the Women's League, which was a big sigh of relief, and it was great to see women players coming out of the field. So decision making was more towards keeping in mind the COVID regulation. But again, thanks to the leadership that we had, we came up with innovative ideas. We started executing things. We went beyond the sphere and took relevant steps. So collective decision making, cohesive decision making, and we backed each other, I think, helped all of us to chart a path and the journey during those tough times. Then we came up, when the second wave came about, we did online activations so that we were engaged with our audience. We did Mind Speaks, where we were talking about fighting mental issues during COVID. So we had to be quick on our feet, and our leadership definitely helped us to do that and help in decision making. And of course, if you have a good team with you, which I was fortunate to have and I still have, so we came up with ideas, we came up with solutions where we will execute. We will go ahead with the calendar. We will follow AFF's calendar, which they are now restarting once COVID sort of settled down. So we went ahead and did things in a collective manner, in a sensible manner, and keeping things simple. And despite that, we got collaborations. We got sponsors on board. We got broadcasting partners on board, so that we could, if people can't come to the stadium, they could watch football from their home on the mobile screen. So thankfully, people were interested in our good work, which helped our decision making, in fact, and which helped us take quick decisions, innovative decisions, and ensure that the show is going on. And now the decision making is to ensure how we sustain this. How do we maintain continuity and consistency? How do we bring in more partners? Because we want to do more events, bigger events, add more youth league. Already age groups are added. Women youth league is coming. School leagues, college league, divisions have gone up. So how do we now go out to market, ensure we keep our team motivated, get more people to work for Football Delhi, maintain a professional setup? Those are the decisions that we have to make, keeping in what we learned in the past, and now innovate and move forward, making those certain critical decisions. So yes, it's not tough. Decision making is more stressful in life. So the easier you make it for yourself, the better your life is. And I think people around you help you do that.
developing women footballers is a huge part of Football Delhi's agenda. We have talked a lot about it with Mr. Shaji Prabhakaran as well. So, what are your further plans to develop women footballers and popularize the sport even more amongst the girls in the state?
So I think for us,
Mm.
women's football is as important as men. And last year we had 24 odd teams playing women's league in two divisions. So now we have two divisions of women's football: Football League Championship and then the Football League Women's Premier League. And we want more teams to participate. We want more of the men club to have women team as well. So that I feel will go up. Then we have added the youth league under 15 and under 17 in our calendar, which we'll execute. So these are the important steps that we've taken to ensure there is structured pathway and development of the female athlete. We've already conducted all women E-license and D-license courses because unless you have great coaches, you won't get great players. So very important to keep educating our coaches from Delhi, women coaches and men coaches to ensure that we get great players. So all these steps are happening. There is always promotion online happening. The two prominent players in the national team are from Delhi. Thankfully, we're fortunate to have Aditi Chauhan, the goalkeeper, and Dalima Chibbat, part of the national team, who are role models, ideals for the girls playing in the junior level. So I think all in all, it works out well for Delhi, and we've gained great traction from sponsors as well to support women's football. Petroleum Board being one such example. We're keen to keep developing the women's side of football and guiding us and helping us. Broadcasters are on board. And of course, we'll continue to conduct coaching courses for women and also referees. We want more female referees to come on board. We have the two top female referees from Delhi and some junior ones coming up, but we want more of female referees to come on board. We also want more women to be part of the administration. So these are important steps and plans that we have for women's football. And we hope that their national team can keeps going up so that our local players are excited and inspired to be there.
The next question is a bit philosophical one because I know there is no direct answer to it, but I will just ask this one. That is, what are your both short-term and long-term plans for Football Delhi, keeping in mind football in Delhi is growing at a rapid pace. The fan base is also growing at a rapid pace. So what are some of the short and long-term plans for Football Delhi?
So short-term and is long-term to make Delhi and continue to make Delhi the model state association in India, where we conduct all the required activities and yet add the important activities at the grassroots, the youth level, at the senior level, to ensure there is proper development of athletes, of coaches, of referees, and also ensure there are more number of matches at each age group. Because if they don't have matches, development won't happen. It's a continuous process of providing matches. It's like studying every day. When you study in nursery, in primary, in high school, college, education happens every day. It's the same with football. You can't not practice. So our short term is to ensure that we do that. And long term is to ensure sustainability of this, get as many partners on board, as many more teams coming through, more matches, and continue to be the flag bearer of football in Delhi. Get broadcasting partners, sponsors on board, social media, marketing. So tick every box possible to ensure that we can sustain our ambitions and our endeavor to ensure that football will grow in Delhi at a very good pace that we have started right now. So a short term will lead to the long-term vision of football. And of course, it'll be great to again have an ISL club. Hopefully the I-League clubs get promoted from Delhi to ISL or direct entry so that we have top-level football as well. Important is top flight. The other aspect is give more players from Delhi to the national team, men and women, age group teams as well as senior team. And also coaches coming out of Delhi and referees, which is already happening. The top referees now in India who did ISL final is from Delhi. So good work is happening and we should continue to do that and make it sustainable. Get partners on board, get the government involved, and always have the support of AFF.
In one podcast, Mr. George Bednar, she told the most important, the most rapid way to gain football fans, to gain people who are interested in the sports and also to develop a fan culture is to have a very good youth system and also the grassroots, because we all know all the players won't become professionals. 95% of the players won't even see the district and the semi-amateur level of football as well. But what happens is that when you play a lot of football, the guys who play in the grassroots, even if they don't get chances, they remain a fan. They become a fan of the sports. They love the club, which is from the locality. They play for them. They see how the team plays. And in future, there are chances that they can become active contributors by becoming office bearers, contributors, sponsors, and all those things. Do you believe that the most important thing to develop a fan culture is to start the baby leagues, golden baby leagues, and the youth football, where you make the parents as well as the children who are playing that interested in football? And is this a right way to develop a football culture in the state? I just want to take your opinion because it's a very
Yes,
hypothetical issue.
yes, absolutely. And last this 22-23 season, we had one of the biggest golden leagues with 1,500 plus students playing across 7 months. We had the biggest youth league in Delhi in under 13, 15, 18, spanning again 6 to 7 months, which obviously sets a trend and a culture at a lower level. Parents are involved. Decision makers are parents. They should be more involved in the sport, which they are at the junior level. We want to develop clubs as a long-term vision of ours as well, because it's important to give strength to all clubs, member clubs in the association, because few are working very hard and few need that support to make them work hard. So that is very important to build that culture. And so this happens. This is important for them. This is important for us to develop that culture. And yeah, so that's how we will progress as an association. Now beyond that, there is futsal coming up in a big way. There is beach football coming up in a big way, thanks to AFF making it a priority now, along with futsal. And now we're also looking at street football in Delhi and the cages, the artificial cages that you have in Delhi, to promote football there and amongst the corporate. Because we know that all won't become professional, but we still want the entire society to be involved in playing football at some level. And we want to touch them at some point, some geography, some location, some different doesn't matter, but they should be engaged with the sport and playing. Because we know that the power of football is big. When the World Cup comes about, entire world watches it. Even players or even people who do not play football. So how do we keep them engaged? How do we pull them into the sport and get the demand going up? So these are the various touch points that we have in mind, and we already are doing it, and we plan to implement it. We came third in beach football in the AFF state championship without a beach in Delhi. So if we can provide that and grow beach football and get more people to play and have a sort of infrastructure available, which you're planning to do. So that's how we can evolve the sport, evolve the demand of the sport, evolve the consumption of the sport from sectors where people are not involved as much or play or consume football. So yeah, so these are the different touch points that we are planning and we already have in place.
So in 2023, you founded ANINC. So what is the organization about and how are you planning to serve your target audience?
Interesting question. So basically looking at my past experience, what I've learned in football, in management, in administration, what I have learned studying nutrition in football, what I have learned while practicing physical exercises, and what now I've learned as a hypnotherapist is something that I want to help as many people in society, especially athletes, to develop themselves in a holistic manner, to achieve their potential, not just physically, but mentally also, something that people are less aware of. And I'm trying to bring that out in the mainstay where athletes, coaches, referees, owners, or general people can come in aware. And like the tagline says, nurture together is what I want to do, is that we come, sit, talk together, collaborate, and however I can help them to become better is what I want to do and make them better human beings overall. So that's the idea, to cater to the target audience. It ranges from young kids, youth players, senior players, parents, young adults, senior people, everybody fits into the target audience. And as much as one can help them is what something I would love to do and give back to whatever I've learned. So it's all about sharing and caring. So as much as one can do that is my end.
One of the key aspects of ANINC is using hypnotherapy to improve performances. I learned about it a few days ago. I have seen certain videos, but it's still a thing which is still so much unknown to me, still piques my interest so much. It's itching me to ask you this one. What is hypnotherapy and how to make the most out of it, and how does it impact a person who is in the sports or maybe not even in the sports?
So that question, answering that question can take a long time, but I'll try to summarize it as much as possible. But it's an interesting space to be in and to learn from, because I also recently stumbled upon it thanks to my family. Um, and I was surprised to know that it's heavily used in sports abroad to improve performance of athletes, to improve pain management, to improve stress level, anxiety issues. And it's basically working on a subconscious level of your mind to understanding how this world works in terms of the physical plane and the energy plane, and basically tapping into issues or resources in your subconscious. And because we all live through them every day, we are in a hypnotic state to per se when you're probably about to sleep or when you're about to get up. And how you can, through therapy, through interactive therapy, where you as the client lead the entire session and want to change yourself in a very conscious manner, but tapping in your subconscious is the way to go about it. Uh, so I think to dwell upon it more, it'll be interesting to meet people, tell them more about it in a closed group format or one-on-one. And I hope that more people are aware of it. They are aware of this particular service, because it will genuinely help them become better human beings in their professional life as well as personal life, and basically help lead them lead a happier, healthier, and a simpler life without too many complications that we have over the years gathered because of our growing age, because of various traumas around us, because of society, because of world issues. So this will help in easing that out, being more aware of our existence, and helping each other through this therapy.
In your professional career, you have worked with cricket, football, hockey, kho, kabaddi, and even handball. The recent concluded handball league as well. So, how has working in different fields shaped you as a person, and what are some of the biggest life lessons? Because we all know sports is a great teacher. So, I just want to ask you this.
So sports, I think sports or anything in life is about interacting with people, managing perception, managing egos, and working in sports or playing sports helps you do that and makes you a better person, because eventually it's all about how you communicate with people, how you deal with people, is how your life experiences are shaped. So sports and working in sports helps you do that. And the more open you are to work and understand people at every level, will shape you and will make you a better person. And working in sport helps you do that. And working across different sports, from cricket, even tennis and Commonwealth Games, in Red Bull when I was there doing other events there, and kabaddi, football, hockey, badminton, kho a little bit, and now handball. I've only realized that it's all about your relationships that you make and how good you are at your work, the integrity levels that you can maintain, how honest and sincere you can be with your work, that everything else will fall into place. And learning that through playing sport, and then in working in sports with other people, has shaped in whatever way I've tried to deliver or work or give my services.
Football and even sports is a great leveler for a country as ours. It is a great unity and uniting factor. But again, captains, that was all for today. We need to end our session here. Thanks, Mr. Narula, for being with us today. To all of our viewers, thanks a lot for joining in. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more such podcasts like this. Until then, it's goodbye from Armband.